Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy Jinky, back again with another video. Yeah, I've been missing for a while. Didn't take the loss that well, the Euro final loss. But hey, we are back. I had a couple of weeks to, wait, was it 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago? I don't know, lost count of days. But anyways, we're back with another video. So today we'll be looking at a video by Mojo Travels, which is titled The Top 10 Worst Tourist Destinations that are still popular. It's an interesting one. I don't know which ones would be there. Wait, why am I putting this up? I'm not even talking through this mic. I don't know which ones would be there. I think one of them would be Venice. Worst travel destination. It could be an eye-opening one. I don't know what other criteria for them categorizing it as worst travel destination, so it will be quite an interesting one to see. I also saw that a lot of views coming in through my tier list video that I made on my main channel before, like a year ago. So if you haven't seen that, do check it out as well. I'll put a card over there. And yeah, with that, let's get to the video.
For this list, we're looking at some of the most overrated and consistently disappointing destinations from around the world.
Okay.
Cities, specific
So that's it
landmarks,
right here.
we're talking about all of the above. Number 10. The Leaning Tower of Pisa. Does a lack of structural integrity really make a tower a must-visit attraction? The Italian city of Pisa has long attracted crowds from around the world with its iconic landmark. But ask a traveler who's actually made the trip, and they're unlikely to have a whole lot to say about the experience. Yep, it's leaning. In fact, the government has had to sink a fair amount of time and energy into it to keep it leaning, and not, completely collapsed. If you're looking for a silly photo op, sure, feel free to pretend that you're holding it up. But there's no pose that hasn't been done 1,000 times before. The architecture is reasonably impressive, but Italy is full of impressive and historic structures.
You know what? When she mentioned that there's not been a post that's not been done, I have a post that I want to do. It would be like me headbutting the Eiffel Tower, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. I don't think anyone's ever done that. I might do a Google search to see if anyone's done that, but chances are no one's done that.
Plus, it's smaller in person than you'd expect. Number 9.
Wow. But let's just go back to the Leaning Tower of Pisa. First of all, I know that when I went to Italy that there are so many other Leaning Towers, not just the one in Pisa, but obviously the Pisa one is quite popular. There are so many other Leaning Towers you could visit in Italy. I did a vlog in Bologna and you could see there are two twin towers over there as well, which is not that popular as the one in Pisa, but they're also popular, and I was told that there are many others like that across Italy, so, and maybe across the Europe, I don't know, but you might find one near your city if you're a European. All right, let's see London. Oh my gosh, it's like my favorite city to live, work, travel, everything in. So let's see what they're gonna roast London about.
9. Touristy London.
Oh, it says
Call this
touristy
a hot
London.
or even scorching take if you want, but we stand by it. Look, London is an incredible city. Duh. It's culturally and historically rich, with much to offer travelers looking for a rewarding travel experience. The thing is, to actually truly get a real taste of modern-day London, you need to get away from the city center. Approach it like a straight-up tourist and you're going to burn through your budget in a matter of days. And as for all those iconic sites, well, they tend to lose their luster when you have to spend your day waiting in long lines, elbowing through crowds to get a decent view, and then realizing just what limited access you actually have to many of the city's most iconic sites. Also, if you're the sort of traveler whose mood is weather dependent, you might want to skip it altogether.
Oh, I think that's Las Vegas, but let's go back to London. I mean, a lot of things that she said is true. I do believe that there was a lot of tourists when I went there as well. There's a lot of people just generally just living there, also in a very populated city. I believe that New York would also make up this list. And I think when she mentioned touristy London, I think there is that element of that London for tourists. It's different from London as a person that you already like knows the culture, knows how to live there, or has been there. So yeah, like I get that. I get the touristy part of it, but again, personally, London's my biggest city, my favorite city. So, alright, let's go with Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, Nevada. Everyone has their own definition of fun. If you're into cheap hotel deals, expensive but lavish buffets, and endless displays of excess, maybe you'll actually have a great time. Oh, also gambling. It's a great place for gambling. All those flashing lights are undeniably mesmerizing. There are a few places on Earth where you're reminded more constantly of the fact that everything around you is man-made. By that same token, all that artifice can make the whole experience feel, well, fake. The Las Vegas Strip is one big adult playground, and your interactions there get old fast. It begins to feel like every conversation that you're having is a transaction or sales pitch. And while at first glance it may seem like Vegas has everything you could ever want, after a day or two, you begin to realize that it's all one big homogeneous experience.
That's actually an interesting take on Las Vegas. I mean, a lot of the things I kind of knew already, but the whole thing that it's not everything is fake and stuff, you would also see that in other cities as well, which probably might not make this list. But yeah, I guess the whole point of Las Vegas is that like it's like very artificial. If you can't go to Paris or Venice or other cities, you can visit in Las Vegas. So I don't know. I think people go to Las Vegas for a particular reason, and the city provides that particular reason to that person. So it's not, I don't know. I haven't been there. I was supposed to go there thanks COVID, but I'm kind of disagreeing on that.
Number 7, the CN Tower. Call us jaded,
Toronto.
but tall buildings just don't hold the
Canada.
appeal that they once did. Toronto's CN Tower was the tallest building in the world, among other records, until it was eclipsed by the Burj Khalifa in 2007. It undeniably makes
Shout out
for an
Dubai.
eye-catching focal point of the Toronto skyline, but is it worth the price of admission to actually go inside? Many people will tell you that the answer is no. It provides a great panoramic bird's-eye view of the city, but 35 Canadian dollars is steep. And there's an additional charge to get to the highest observation point. That's one seriously expensive view. Besides, as any local will tell you, Toronto is the sort of city that you really need to immerse yourself in and explore on foot to fully appreciate. Regardless, the CN Tower remains one of the city's most popular tourist attractions. Number 6, Times Square. It's sort of like Las Vegas, except it's smaller, more crowded, there are no hotel deals to speak of, and gambling is off the table. New York City is a bucket list destination for travelers around the world, and rightfully so. There are few cities on Earth more vibrant or diverse. It's a city of hidden gems, larger-than-life characters, and unique experiences that you really can't find anywhere else. Too bad that so many first-time visitors miss out on all of the above. New York City's authentic charms are often entirely overshadowed by the bright lights of Times Square. And there's literally nothing but tourist traps to be found here. Massive crowds, pricey but terrible restaurants, souvenir shops, and pushy street vendors are pretty much all you'll find.
The last part is absolutely true. The restaurants weren't that great, honestly. Maybe at least the ones that I went to. Even went to the one that was owned by Priyanka Chopra called Sona, I think, bang average. I mean, it was good, but definitely not worth the price. Also, yeah, like there's a lot of random street sellers that kind of annoy you. When I used to go to like other states in India, like I get bombarded with these kind of people, and I really get annoyed and just don't want to talk to them, and I also don't want to say no to them. So it's just really awkward for me, and to get that vibe in New York, especially in Times Square. So I totally get what she meant by that. But also, I do always feel something when I go to Times Square. I'm not gonna lie. The first time when I went there, it was so amazing. And the second time, how many other times I've been there, every time when I go through Times Square, there is certain like wow, like that wow factor is there, at least for me. So I wouldn't call it overrated, but yeah, I can get why, like when you think about it, it's basically just like a billboard spot where there's like so many marketing. It's like a marketing haven where everything is just every brand product is just being marketed. So I do get that it's like not much in there, but you still feel like wow, you know, especially if you're like so into like movies and TV shows, and whenever they portray, you kind of want to go there to see how it is. Like it's like you might be like in a movie. I don't know, I'm a bit on the fence with New York.
While you're avoiding Times Square, you might as well skip Liberty Island as well. It's best appreciated from afar. Number 5, Venice, Italy. Are you tired of hearing about the over-tourism issues in Venice? Well,
yes, absolutely. I mean, I am kind of tired of hearing about it, but at the same time, it is a big issue. And if you study tourism, sustainable tourism, you would know why.
so are the locals. The overpopularity of Venice is a lose-lose news for everyone involved.
No, it's not.
Local residents have all but completely lost their regular way of life to the insatiable hunger that tourists have for this remarkable and historic city over water. As a result, it's all but impossible to have anything even vaguely resembling a satisfying or authentic experience there. The city's iconic sites like St. Mark's Basilica and Palazzo Ducale remain intact, but Venice itself feels like a shell of its former self. Storefronts are almost exclusively tourist traps, and there are souvenir shops around every corner. With long lines just to get from A to B, it feels more like a Venice theme park than a functioning city. The local government is making major efforts to address the problem. Here's hoping that change is on the horizon.
A lot of the things she said is absolutely true, especially like the government trying to make changes for it, trying to build like a dock system and like a drainage system and all that. But I do disagree on the fact that it was like an amusement park theme like Venice, because it's still a very unique city. I mean, I know I shouldn't be promoting Venice because I don't want that many people to go there at once, but it's such a unique city. I mean, everyone should do their best to preserve that way so that our future generations could also go and travel and visit Venice.
Number 4, Loch Ness. Hey,
Oh, is
if
that
you're
in
just in it
Scotland?
for the beautiful landscape, then by all means, please
That's in
visit Loch
Scotland, right?
Ness.
The-
That
the
being said,
mon-
the Scottish Highland is chock full of picturesque lakes that are less crowded and more affordable. We're not here to argue whether or not the Loch Ness monster actually exists, but
It does.
unlike Nessie, let's be real here. You are not going to be the one to spot any creature and finally confirm its existence during your 3-day stay. And here's the thing. All the business that has built up around the loch's namesake creature transparently aims to milk as much as it can from this dubious claim to fame. On average, you're likely to overpay for everything from your accommodations to a cup of tea as a result. Also, people seem to be overwhelmingly disappointed with the Loch Ness Center and exhibition, which has been described as both outdated and overpriced.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been there. I haven't heard much about the Loch Ness Lake and all that. I just know that about the whole monster thing. So yeah, I don't know how much to say. I mean, again, I think the criteria for that being like a worst destination is that it's quite expensive to like get there and like live there and get things there. It's like just quite expensive basically. So yeah, I guess so. And just the fact that they all based it off like a monster myth, they're just milking it. If you could probably analyze how much money the communities are getting because of that, how much impact it's having on these communities positively, then we can make a case that it's not, it's not too bad. Like people are getting their livelihood through tourism, which is what I want based off my major. So what, it's not like that bad. But I mean, unless we see the reports and all that, but it's like a whole another thing. I think this one's Greece, Santorini, so let's go.
Number 3, Santorini, Greece. Once upon a time, there was a magical island called Santorini. With its soaring cliffs, breathtaking ocean views, delicious seafood, welcoming people, and charming little towns, it seemed almost too good to be true. But it was real, and those lucky enough to know about it and make the trip quickly fell in love. But then, word spread and the tourists began to arrive by the boatload. Nowadays, during the normal tourist high season, travelers drastically outnumber locals. Tourism has eclipsed all other traditional industries and has brought in cookie-cutter tourist-centric businesses to match. The blue and white city of Ia is theoretically as beautiful as ever, but you can hardly make out the details amidst the throngs of tourists crowding its narrow streets. When an island of only about 15,000 residents plays host to over 2 million visitors a year, the island culture gets crushed.
2 million visitors a year. I mean, so the one thing that, I mean, as a tourism major, what I would look at if I was like the government of this region of Greece would be the carrying capacity, and based off that, probably just get the visas and stuff like more difficult for people to get. I feel like this Santorini case is a bit solvable. Like it's one of the easy solution would be to restrict the number of people coming in at a particular time. Obviously, they have like their own on season and off season, but if you could limit, people coming in, they could still thrive. Like see the point where how much profit they could make through tourism without affecting socially, economically, environmentally the island. That could work. I'm pretty sure they could do a bit better with Santorini. Like, it's not, they don't have, it's pretty much the problem is man-made, so the solution could also be man-made as well. Just my opinion. I believe they can fix it.
Number 2, the Blarney Stone. Don't get us wrong, we're suckers for a local legend and good old-fashioned folktale.
I don't know about this.
But we also have a strong aversion to long lines for attractions that are consistently underwhelming. Sometimes the story surrounding a particular object of fascination is far more compelling than the object itself. Such is the case with the Blarney Stone, which, true to its name, is really just a block of limestone. Set in place on Blarney Castle in 1446, the rock has a number of conflicting origin stories, but the general consensus is that it gives the gift of gab, as in eloquent speech. All you have to do is lie down and plant a big kiss on the centuries-old rock. Spoiler, people don't generally report suddenly having a newfound way with words, but people keep visiting this tourist trap and paying good money for it. Kissing a high-touch surface these days? No thanks! Number 1. Christ the Redeemer. The city of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil has one of the most iconic skylines in the world. Seriously, between its towering mountains, the beachfront, and this awe-inspiring statue, it looks more like concept art for a fantasy film than anything else. So, to be clear, we highly recommend checking out this incredible city. But, like New York City's Statue of Liberty, the Christ the Redeemer statue is better appreciated from afar. Its impact is most valuable as part of the bigger metropolitan picture and the sense of drama it brings to the city as a whole. It doesn't need to be seen up close and personal, because when you get up there, it's honestly smaller than you'd expect. Plus, there's always a massive crowd, effectively making it impossible to get the dreamy sort of photo op that you've been imagining. If you want a great view of the city, considering checking out Pão de Açúcar, Sugarloaf Mountain, instead.
Well, that was the 10 worst destinations. I mean, so they did have like different criteria for each destination. The last one, I do completely agree. There's also another like a Christ statue in Bolivia that's not that popular as the Brazilian one, because I feel like the Brazilian one is newer. But there's also one in Bolivia, similar concept, looking out through the people. Brilliant, you know, like just like a whole protection, security, safety. Totally like that. But yeah, like she said, do prefer it to be seen from outside to get like the whole impact of how Jesus Christ is looking after the people of Brazil, of Rio de Janeiro. So yeah, I do agree with most of them. There were some that I did not agree about, but eventually I think it's such a great video. They didn't mention anything related to crimes throughout the whole video, as in like the 10 destinations didn't have any crimes or anything as an issue to why it was like a bad tourist destination. So that was good, I guess. But obviously if you go to New York, London, you could possibly fall into that category. But anyways, yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video until the end. Hope you guys liked it. I'm trying to do a lot more travel related videos. I'm planning on traveling as well across America, but until that's all sorted out, yeah, I was supposed to go to Orlando for the Florida Cup, and Arsenal and Inter Milan, I mean, they had COVID, so this one team had COVID, one team took precautions, so I got all my refunds and stuff, so it's all good. But yeah, I might be traveling soon, possibly in August, so until then I'll be making these kind of videos. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Alright, peace.